One of the basic tactics you can use is just a Texas or Florida rig worm. Red shad, if you want to throw a creature bait or a lizard, you can do that. But basically I'm rigging up different weight sinkers. I might start with something smaller, then maybe go to something really big depending on what kind of cover I'm fishing. Basically the Texas rig, I'm going to slide up and down the thing. There's no peg on it, so it's good for open water, maybe around a cypress tree where you're not trying to get through any kind of cover. You can fish it to a treetop, but basically it's just an open water bait. Then you might peg your worm weight, and then you use that for grass cover, lilies, things like that, maybe shoreline vegetation, something heavy that you want to punch inside the cover in order to get the fish out. And you want to peg your weight, because if you don't, it's going to wrap up every time you throw it in there. It just slides away, gets tangled up, and you can't get it in or out of the cover. So I'm going to show you the basic way to do a Florida rig or a peg weight, and you just start with a bobber stopper. There's a couple different styles you can use. You can buy some pre-made ones. I just use the things that you might use for crappie fishing. Those are basically just bobber stoppers you can get at any kind of little retail place. If you have something else, you can actually use a wire threader. And I just use a little bit of skirt material. You can see the actual skirt material sticking on there that's left in there, but you just use a strand about that big. First you run this through the sinker like this. It comes out the top, and you thread your rubber in there, and you just pull it through, and it pegs it to the line. It slides up and down. There's really no advantages either way. Some of them slide easy. You don't really want to peg it real hard because you want the sinker to slide away from the fish if you can. But the first step is you put your bobber stopper on. I'm just going to use this crappie bobber stopper. You use this if you're fishing goggle eye for carp, with carps, and using a sliding carp. So you just slide it on a little ways onto the line, give a little pull, a little tug, and there's your bobber stopper on your line. Then you can wet the line a little bit, slide it up to where it's out of the way. Next thing you do, you pick your weight that you want to do. These wedge weights go through cover pretty good here. I use these sometimes. Get them in the different sizes and different colors. Basically thread it on through, and you tie your hook. Now some people use a snell knot. If you're punching really heavy color, use a straight up hook set with a snell knot. But most of the time I just tie it straight on like I'm doing a regular uni knot or a polymer knot, depending on what kind of line I'm doing. This works with braid or any kind of fluorocarbon, Berkeley 100% fluorocarbon. I use that some. Basically get your rig knot tied down, slide it down, cut off the tag, and then basically what you're doing is just driving the bobber stopper right above the line, and that way when you throw it in the cover, if it's over a limb or something, it's going to go in instead of wrapping up like that. And that's why you do it, is to get it in the heavy cover. And you'll see on the Pearl there's a bunch of different kind of grass, and you want to punch in that, especially this time of year. It's so hot, middle of the day, that's where the fish are going to go. If you fish in a tournament, you want to go into the middle of the thickest cover in the hottest part of the day, and that's where you're going to catch your bigger fish.